On the CBS Tuesday night movies.
ML Elric.
And one day at a time,
Sean Windsor.
Two brothers, one reaching for the pinnacle of success, the other driven to crime by the bitter taste of envy. Torn apart by a choice between family and career.
Can't you see the headlines? Law and Order candidate fingers his own brother.
The Soul of Detroit.
Tuesday.
You asked interrogative questions around my face. It's gone.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on.
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now?
Hello, pals? Is it pals, Sean? Is it kids? What does
kids.
he say?
It's kids.
What demeaning thing does that man say?
Kids, I think. It's your old pal, ML Elric. Hello, kids. It's your old pal, ML Elric.
Who is not with us today. We'll try to explain that coming up. So Sean and I will be kicking a few things around, mainly in the world of sports, because everything in the world of sports really isn't about sports anymore. It tends to be a big culture thing. Plus, you had a really interesting column. You talked to somebody that I think is of interest to people in this area, especially baseball fans. And I think we have a Geek of the Week that we can all kind of rally around. But first, want to let you know that we're here, courtesy of Roy O'Brien Ford, and it is royobrien.net, by the way. Did you know ML got the website wrong a few times?
That doesn't surprise me. He doesn't care about the details.
Yeah, that's right. royobrien.net, ROYOBRIEN. They are a Ford dealer, 9 Mile Road, St. Clair Shores. Just go on their website. Look at all the great stuff they have right now. They want you to tell us, build your car right now, and they'll have it ready for you, because we all know what's going on in the car world right now. So they will walk you through it if you're in need of a car, and they want your old ones too. So check them out, Roy O'Brien Ford, royobrien.net, as we said, or you can give them a call, 888-566-5851. And I would say today's first mystery is, where is ML? Do you even know?
No, I don't. He's said he was someplace near a river. Real quickly, though.
Near a river?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's all very mysterious. Let me just say this, though. I'm not used to having the show opened up by a professional.
Oh.
I mean, that sounded great.
Why, thank you.
You know what I mean? You weren't putting anybody down. You weren't calling attention to yourself. You weren't trying to be funny. You were just, hey, I'm your host. I'm congenial.
Well, how flattering.
I'm nice. I want to be with you for an hour, spend a little time with you. Let's mosey on down the river. Speaking of rivers, maybe the Detroit River is where our boy's at.
Is this a campaign event?
I think it's some kind of campaign event. He said if we really needed him, he could maybe slip out and call us.
Well, priorities, man. He is running for city council.
He
it's
is.
The thing that matters to him most. Certainly not this show, one bit. But he had his big party that he does every year. I don't think that's much of a secret. What does he call it? His yard
beer party.
You actually went. You surprised him. He did not think you would be there.
No, because they extend an invitation out, and you can hit your little yes or no button, right? Or maybe. I think there's a maybe too.
Wait a sec. There's an actual invitation set out.
It's an electronic invitation. I think it comes through Facebook now. And
now, see,
it says yes, question mark, no, question mark, maybe, question mark. And it went to, I don't know, 400 or 500 people. I'd have to look.
And not me.
I know that. I was shocked. I thought you'd be there, to be honest.
I didn't know about it. I'm kind of hurt I wasn't invited.
Well,
no, I know I was invited, but I never got the official invite. So
right. Well, the only reason I'm on the list, it's leftover. So it started out. I don't want to get this wrong in terms of the date. Mike and Teresa have been Mike's lovely wife. They've been doing this for a long time, and it started out as a Detroit Free Press party.
Oh, okay.
Largely,
yeah.
Right. And I can remember going when my kids were little, and a lot of fellow reporters and journalists at the Free had younger kids, and they'd be in the basement playing around. And, the idea was you bring a beer that's not, quote, a great beer, right? A yard beer.
Yeah.
Just something we want to drink on a hot summer night.
This fancy crap.
Yeah, so somebody bring Black
IPAs.
Label or something like that, Keystone. I don't know.
Bud Light.
Does Keystone even have any alcohol in it?
Does Bud Light?
Yeah, Bud Light.
It's my favorite.
So that's how it evolved. You bring this beer. They then started serving White Castle sliders.
Huh.
So they provide White Castle sliders. And it turned into this, over the years, it sort of morphed into a party that involves people from all different phases of his life and career. So you had people from the neighborhood, you had people from the church, you had people from television.
Fox 2, yeah.
Yep. There were
Dish. Who was there? Who was there from Fox 2 that you would recognize?
I understand Woody has been there, but Woody Woodruff, but I did not see him. I went a little early.
Last time I went, Huel was there.
Yeah, Huel maybe.
They're
Yeah,
late.
Maybe it's not Woody. Maybe it's Huel. But I'm kind of an old guy, sort of. More in spirit than maybe on the calendar. I've been old since I was 17.
Definitely true.
Or maybe old since I was 22. I was probably a little too immature. 17. In any case, so I didn't know a lot of people. There was a band I couldn't
Smiths
see.
United, probably. They always play.
Yep, I heard the Smiths, or what sounded like the Smiths, up on this sort of rooftop patio that's over the garage. You can't really see, but you could hear. And then they supplied again the sliders, and they now supply the beer.
Oh,
even though people still do bring beer.
That man can throw a party. I'll give him credit.
Yeah, and it was a nice crowd from a lot of different facets of life, and that was fun.
I do want to ask you, because he lives on the east side and he had horrible flooding. Is there still a bunch of crap
There
in front of
was.
people's houses?
In
They have
fact,
yet to remove that?
It was tricky to find a part. I mean, I had to walk a bit to get to his house because so many of the spots on the street were taken up by folks' belongings, that were damaged in the floods, unfortunately. So that was sobering for sure. But the vibe coming out of his yard was fun. It was not bad. And it's very generous of them to what they do. I brought him a 6-pack of Shinerbach, by the way. It used to be that's what I drank in college, Mark.
I was going to say, I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, you could only, back those days, it was just brewed around Central Texas, and that's where you found it. But
I'm kind of stuck on this whole thing that there's all that trash from the flood. You're a wise man. Why couldn't they just get it out of there and put it somewhere else for the time being? Why is that so hard?
You mean the city?
I mean leadership, yeah. If you're a leader, isn't that what the people want at the time? It's just, okay, let's get all this crap out. Let's figure out how we're going to get your life put back together. Instead of, and then we talked about this before, instead of, it's the fault of, global warming, and it's the fault of this. And just like, no, people's houses flooded. They want help. They need money. And they want to get the old crap out of there.
Yeah, at the very least, right? Because it's been going on, a week and a half now or
Yeah.
something, or maybe a little longer. No. Yeah, I can't remember the exact dates. But to see all that stuff, they probably just don't have the manpower in the regular budget in the trucks. I mean, Mike the garbage trucks or whatever kind of truck. I don't know the garbage trucks. I mean, they'll hold couches and that sort of thing. Furniture that you often see in basements. But yeah, you know what it made me think of a little bit. Now this is a private enterprise, but I went to the Detroit Golf Club recently for the PGA, the Rocket City.
Yeah. Oh, the
Rocket
Phil
City,
Mickelson wine.
the Rocket Mortgage, the Wine Fest.
Phil Mystical Wine.
Yeah.
Wine Fest.
And they had, I don't know how many visitors they had over the course, but there were tens of thousands of people. Those folks parked either Wayne State or Detroit Mercy, and then they were bussed over. And the last night of the tournament on Sunday, I took one of the last buses back after deadline, and I happened to be on the bus with the guy that owned the bus company. Dean.
Okay.
And I can't remember his first name, but Mr.
Did you pitch
Dean.
him to sponsor the show?
I should have. That wasn't very smart. But he's based out of Lansing, but I can't remember. He told me they had at least 100 buses. These are like tour buses or more. So why couldn't, in a situation like, not that you can use tour buses to haul garbage away, but just seeing how they came together to transport, with the universities for parking and use those buses to transport all those people for a freaking golf tournament.
Because there's money involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why can't public-private get together like we did with the vaccine, for example?
Yeah.
And get these folks, you were down at Ford Field during the vaccine heyday, weren't you?
I did not go down there.
Oh, okay. No. Well, just the way the private and public folks came together and volunteers and so on and so forth.
For the greater good. Now, that's funny. You mentioned the Rocket Mortgage tournament. I could not tell you who won that. The thing I take away out of it is how much Phil Mickelson was a baby about the Robert Snell article in the Detroit News, once again proving that so much in sports is not about sports. It's more, seems to be reflective of, I don't know, it's always issues. And like the two biggest issues in sports the last couple of days have been race involved. And why is that? Like, why is that? How come all these big sports stories are involved, cultural arguments or racial arguments? Is that just, is that because of Twitter? Is that because that's what people are responding to? Like, why are those the big stories that have come out of a weekend full of sports?
Well, I mean, there are a couple things real quickly. One, we hear more about them because people have iPhones and then they have social media to post, so we can see everything instantly. Like, for example, the high school basketball game in San Diego.
Sure.
A few days ago.
Who cares? I mean, it's a high school basketball.
It's a high school basketball, but it became national news because the winning team, which was largely white, threw tortillas at the losing team, which was largely Hispanic.
Now I'm going to ask that general question. Is that news?
I don't know if it's news or not, but 30 years ago, if something happened 30, 40 years ago, I don't know, even 20 years ago, do we find out about it? Or is it just...
No, of course not.
It's a story probably in the San Diego Tribune Union or Union Tribune, whatever.
It's a regional
Right.
metro area story.
So that's part of it, but the bigger, to me, the bigger, more simpler answer, and this is actually a simplistic answer, is sports are life, man. That's it.
That's pretty simple.
We don't play it in a vacuum. I mean, right? We don't just stop every other part of being a human being to go watch or participate in a competition.
Okay, well, one of the big
So that's
things
really it.
going on right now. You know, you have the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is tonight, Tuesday. We just had the Home Run Derby. Shohei Ohtani is the main draw. He's the main baseball guy. He's a generational player. You know, they call him the new Babe Ruth because he pitches, he can hit home runs. He's in the Home Run Derby, which was kind of incredible to watch. But the story that has come out of it is how Stephen A. Smith on his show mentions that, hey, this guy is the face of baseball, should be the face of baseball, and it doesn't help that he speaks through an interpreter. And this is what drives me nuts about it. Instead of analyzing that statement, everyone loses their mind about it because he thinks he's attacking a guy because he doesn't speak English. And that's not how I took it. And so now this thing has just evolved. And then Stephen A. made an apology, not an apology video, more of a doubling down video trying to explain what he said. Everyone's like, nope, don't want to hear it, to the point where he actually apologized. And then the story today is how Jeff Passan, who is a writer, was on the show with Stephen A. Smith, and he's talking about this narrative of here's a guy that left his family and his country to come here, and we should be embracing that. And yes, both things can be true. And this is what's driving me nuts about it. And I didn't know if you had any feelings about that story.
Well, I agree with Jeff that we should be embracing it because of his talent. The journey is also, anybody that leaves your home, no matter what home is, I mean, that takes some courage and some guts, sure, even if there's money on the other end of it, right?
Well, and that's the one thing Jeff left out, is that Shohei Ohtani is making a lot of money.
But
right. It makes that journey a lot easier.
It sure does, but
people that came over to Ellis Island to escape a potato famine.
No question. But
I
still,
think it's equated to that lots of times.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I'm with you on the idea that both things can be true, and I think, and I don't want to put words in Stephen A. Smith's mouth, but it's the idea that I think he was speaking for a lot of fans out there that would probably, he thinks, probably relate to him better, Ohtani better.
Is he wrong?
If they were speaking the same English, because then and it's not understand him as I don't mean understand on some deep level. I just mean it's more of a casual relationship. You know, sports fans love stories. They want stories about the people that they admire and respect and watch. And it's easier to do that when there's no language barrier. I think that's all he was saying.
Yeah, I don't think he's wrong. I think he would be out there more if he didn't have to speak through an interpreter. I don't care that he speaks through an interpreter.
No, I don't either.
He's an amazing story, but the point was he would be bigger. He would be the face of baseball. It would spread, it would help them, I would think, in their popularity if Ohtani was out there more front and center. Doesn't help that he's on a pretty bad team, too.
No, for sure. But to your point, I would say to Jeff's point, what you just said, you said you don't care. And I don't care. And I'm sure lots of people don't care that he's speaking Japanese and has to speak through to an interpreter to communicate with most American fans. But there probably are people that do care, and that was sort of Stephen A.'s. That's kind of what he was implying, and that is too bad. And I think that's what Jeff Passan was.
Those people are never going to get it. They're not going to like him anyway, would they? If you have a problem with him speaking through an interpreter, I think Stephen A.
No, for sure. No, and that is an issue. You know what I mean? It's funny. Getting back to the golf tournament real quick. There was a colleague of mine. I don't want to mention his name here, but his parents are from China. And he was talking about some of the reactions he gets in certain places, right? Just based on how he looks. And, are you a spy, or are you here to do harm? And no, seriously.
No, but
people within the family, in any case. So it's out there. It's just I don't know how much it's out there.
But to Stephen A. Smith's point, do you remember Minoru Kawasaki? Does that name ring a bell to you at all? Baseball player.
I remember the name.
He bounced around from AAA in Toronto. And he's most known for his fun, crazy interviews because he tried to speak English. And that's it. I couldn't tell you anything about him and how he played or anything. It's just that he was a fun-loving guy who would,
I'm Japanese!
And I'm not saying you have to speak English or anything, but Stephen A. Smith's point was it would help the game because do regular fans or, casual fans know who this guy is.
Right.
But we're in this loop now of you can't even explore race from any angle without getting a blowback from one side or the other.
No, and you're right, and it is it is what's the word I'm looking for, Mark? It shuts probably too much conversation down.
Yeah,
that's 10 words to say one. Sorry about that. But real quickly, speaking of the face of baseball and talent and who we latch onto, I mean Mike Trout, and I don't want to make this a baseball podcast today, who's one of the best players in the most talented gifted players in the history, 100+ year history of this game, is not known by very few people outside of baseball, right? And he should be.
I think he's done Subway commercials.
Yeah, he should be like Derek Jeter in a way. I mean, I know
but the word is that
doesn't have New York behind him.
The word is he doesn't want to.
No, right. But so it's not just the language. There are a lot of things have to fall into place. So it's not just the language.
So replace, what if Stephen A. Smith said, hey, if this guy spoke more English and did more interviews, Mike Trout would be an even bigger face of baseball and it would help. From the East Coast, plays in a big market in the West Coast. He just doesn't want to. But, nobody would be up in arms about that question. So that was one of the big stories. The other one, of course, is what happened in Europe. And Joe actually, Zoos, who helps us out here, raised a really interesting question. Is Europe worse than the United States when it comes to, these cultural, racial arguments in sports?
Well, before I answer that, can I read you something?
Uh-oh. Is this a text from ML?
No, it's actually a tweet.
Are we in trouble already?
No, we're not in trouble already. It's a tweet from somebody named Grant Tucker. I shouldn't say somebody named Grant Tucker. That's dismissive.
Only you would care.
A writer or editor sort over there. I'm sure he's a fine fellow. I don't know. I don't want to vouch for that. But in any case, he tweeted out a quote, a part of a quote from Richard II, the Shakespeare play.
Wow, okay.
Shakespeare play. This was, I want to say, before the final between England and Italy. Mm-hmm. And maybe there was a lot of rambunctiousness. You saw the stories about hundreds of fans trying to storm Wembley Stadium and knock down gates, overwhelming the security forces.
English fans are nuts.
They were going crazy. So there's a photo with a bunch of people wrapped in the English flag, and there's a guy. Oh my goodness!
Is this the Roman candle? This is the butt guy.
Yeah, there's a guy leaning over with his pants down. He's got a Roman candle sticking out his butt, and it's lit.
Cool,
ladies and gentlemen.
It's just
it's lit. So red smoke.
Yeah,
red smoke's coming out. Right. So Grant Tucker tweets the quote. It's quick. So bear with me 1 second. This royal throne of kings. This,
you're not going to do it in an accent?
No, I can't do it. That'd be Mike. This royal throne of kings, this sceptered isle, this earth of majesty, this seat of Mars, this other Eden, demi-paradise, this blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England. So he's kind of equating Shakespeare and this high ideal of this country with a photo of a guy with a Roman candle sticking out his ass lit.
Yeah.
And that's where soccer's at.
Pretty much.
So in that context of those folks, and then how did they react when England lost on penalty kicks to Italy when the first two guys to kick for England were white and made their kicks?
Yeah.
And the next three players were of African descent and missed their kicks. Do you know what the reaction was? What's been the reaction of the country since?
I'm not surprised knowing the history of soccer over there. Although it didn't hit me right away. I thought they just would have been, upset that they lost in another shootout because that's very England of them as well. But maybe that's too inside soccer. But you said you knew right away that they were going to get shit.
I did. I turned to I was watching with my sons the shootout, and I turned to him after the youngster, the 19-year-old who missed the last one, Rashford. Oh,
it wasn't Rashford. No, but the 19-year-old, I think he plays for Man U. Yeah, who has never taken a PK.
Exactly.
In any match.
Forgive me for botching his name. No, but I did. I turned to my boys as soon as he missed it, and Italy won, and I said there are going to be people in that country that take to social media and go after this kid and some others.
They were long before that in the tournament. They were booing their team for taking a knee. right before kickoff, because they do that in soccer, because soccer has had a really bad racial problem throughout Europe.
It really has. In the reaction to this, now it wasn't everybody in the country.
We're not going to solve it right
No,
away.
and I don't want to paint the broad brush that it was all of England, and it may have been a very small percentage of England, but it was enough that the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, stepped in and started defending the three guys that missed the kick. That the English club's Twitter account did. Some of the clubs that these players play for, their home clubs, like you mentioned, Man U, they did. And so there's been a pushback because there was a lot of racial undertones about these poor guys missing that kick. And there's a backlash to that. But yeah, no, it makes you realize that.
Well, and I saw UEFA fined England £30,000, which is that's to me, that's just theater of we're trying to do something.
No,
we're
for
trying
sure.
to punish them, because what does that cost them?
For sure. But no, I mean, for all the issues we have here, don't let anybody.
Is Europe worse?
Yeah, right. I mean, in terms of sport, in terms of soccer over there, yes. I mean, do we still have people throwing banana peels out of the stands like they have done in Italy, for example?
Yeah. No, it's really, well, France is pretty bad too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think sometimes if we're this global world now, we might want to look at everything, and it's not to diminish how people feel about certain things. It's like, we're not so bad here. I mean, our basketball team's terrible, but we're not.
Yeah,
Am I anti-American because I was cheering against USA basketball last night playing Australia in an exhibition game?
You love Australia?
I love the fact that watching that game, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, there's a lot of guys on that team who had no interest in being in that game. And for, Nigeria, who just beat them, and Australia, because Australia's actually a pretty good basketball team.
Yeah, well, they got a bunch of NBA guys there, right?
Yeah, Patty Mills is on that team, although
Joe
they
Ingles.
lost Aaron Baines early. But it was just one of those things where
Thibault from the Sixers.
why do I find it funny that USA basketball has gotten beaten twice in a row in exhibition?
Because you don't like America.
That's kind of what I was wondering.
Is that it? Is that it?
Yeah, this country's very great. I love it.
We have our issues.
I'm allowed to root against the basketball team.
But we're not the only ones, right? So we
No.
we can take solace in that. And the behavior with the World Cup over there is, Can we talk about something? Or do
Sure.
we need to read?
Anything you want.
Well, can we just flip that, or not flip it, but pivot? And we'll stay with soccer for just a sec. We're not going to break down soccer here, please. Come on,
Well, it's
folks.
like I said, it's more how these
Come on.
weird cultural arguments.
You love
about
soccer,
sports.
but also, yes. So they have issues over there in terms of the reaction, and there's a certain generation, and a lot of those Western European countries, all European countries, that aren't comfortable with some of the players that have been coming in that have African roots, and that's an issue. But aside from that, the way Italy reacted when they won, right? You saw footage in Rome and cities all over Italy. Mm-hmm. They were going crazy. So do we have anything here, Mark, that
In the
we
United
can all
States?
get behind, that we can all love and rally around? Do we have anything? Do we have anything like that anymore?
Wow, boy, that's a tough question.
Because those
Now, see,
a lot of the world has soccer.
yeah, but a lot of the world is smaller too. There's
What about
300
Brazil?
There's 330 million people in this country.
Brazil?
But do they really? Well, maybe because
Yeah.
of the World Cup,
Yeah, or the South American Cup.
which once again
They lost to Argentina, by the way.
I watched it. I'll embarrassingly admit that I
Of
watched.
course you did. You wanted to watch Messi. But in any case, no, seriously, we were talking about this before the show. Is it a little depressing in some ways
No,
that
well,
we don't
I s-
have enough?
Well, you know what I find depressing? I just find all the arguing very depressing.
Well, and you were talking about sports and politics earlier with what happened with Stephen A. Smith and so forth. I hear from readers all the time that they just want to watch their sports, right?
Sure.
And they want to escape, and they don't want to think about all the. And I certainly understand that.
And I think that's a big problem. And, you have the Olympics coming up, right? That used to be a rally around we cheer for all our Olympians. But the curtain's been pulled back a little bit.
Absolutely.
On, the fact that all these athletes around the world train here, or that it's all about money from the IOC's perspective. And so that kind of really ruins it. We don't have that natural rival anymore with the USSR gone, in a way, the Cold War being
Was
gone.
that the last time the Russians versus? Well, I guess it wasn't the Russians; it was the Soviets. But versus the Americans in hockey.
Are we ever going to have another Miracle on Ice?
At Lake Placid? Yeah.
I just don't see that happening.
But what
now,
do we
because
have?
We know too much about individual athletes.
What do we have that we can rally around? On the one hand, and we were talking again about this, Mark, the idea that there's so much, because we were talking about ratings in sports and watch down. It's partly because there's so much great content of all kinds, entertainment of all kinds out there, quality stuff. It just gets better by the year. And that's awesome, and we can pick and choose, but the side effect of that is we're not in something together, watching something together. When's the last time a movie came by?
Sure.
And grabbed 70%, 80% of us, you know?
Yes, the Avengers, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, but even then, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, I don't want to completely date myself here. Not that that's maybe that's
knows that movie.
Maybe that's not the best example. Jaws, I don't know.
Star Wars.
Yeah, right. To some degree.
But what
can we rally
I'll give you a
around?
better example, and this is ludicrous, but remember the finale of Survivor or Joe Millionaire where you had 55 million people watching it?
Yeah, Vince Ellis, a good buddy of mine, he used to cover the Pistons for the Free Press. We had breakfast the other day, and he's like, are we ever going to have a final episode of MASH again?
Well, we kind of did with
Seinfeld, maybe, but that was a long time ago. I was
going to say Game of Thrones.
Yeah, maybe, but
it'll happen again.
But MASH was well more than half the country.
Channels.
That's the point, though, right? And that's the thing. And it's great that we have all this stuff. You and I, can talk about. Oh, you like Swedish TV? I don't know if you do or not, but I like, British TV. I like Swedish TV. Yeah, right. Exactly. We got all this great stuff, and that's awesome. And I wouldn't want to go back in a way. But one of the
no.
I mean, I wouldn't want to go back at all because the quality of the stuff is amazing. But one of the effects of that is how can we rally around together on some stuff these days? We're losing movie theaters; they're shutting down. I mean, even that community experience is fading a little bit, right?
Well, so that's why it goes once again back to sports and the point about this country just being so huge and so many people here. I feel like it is regional, especially with college sports. You rally around that team, but yeah, you're going to be playing other teams from this country, so.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Super Bowl still, right? I mean,
yeah, but that that fractures people because sometimes it's fun to root against.
Yeah, no, for
Tom
sure.
Brady,
I mean, in the sense that it's a shared. That's one of the few things we have. I guess it's a shared cultural experience. We may in one home be eating Doritos and another home be eating pita chips, and that's great. But it's the idea of we're sharing food and friends and family and that game.
Yeah.
Right. The details and the tastes and sounds may vary from house to house and bar to bar, but we all share that experience. So at least there's that.
It'll come back. I just think we've been so fractured by politics.
I know, but
just spread into every angle.
Mark, I'm not trying to be kumbaya here, but God damn it, don't we need it? Don't we need
it? Because everybody seems to just go in their own.
And everybody's angry. Can't we just
confirmational bias?
I know, but we need a couple things that we can, I don't know,
a war,
or maybe how about
actually win?
How about if we get to Mars? And it's not
facetious.
just. I know you are. It's not just billionaires shooting up their own private rockets. We need to go to Mars, don't we? Or something.
Boy, is that really going to do it? Do you really think that's what's going to do?
Oh, I don't know, but we need something. Maybe it's just Drew. We need more Drew.
We could all use a little more Drew.
Right? Coming down the stairs.
I don't know. I heard the door opening. Who knows what's going on up there right now? Oh, he is coming down. Look, he is live on camera.
Oh, see, look, and to our point, he's wearing a T-shirt that's has got the Beatles. There's something that a lot of people rallied around. So that's why I think we hang on to that kind of stuff.
He's just coming down to get paper to make.
He's bending.
I will rally around the Beatles anytime.
You will what?
I will rally around the Beatles anytime.
I had no idea.
I will rally around the fact that him bending over and showing me his ass crack.
No one wants to rally around that.
I don't mind.
What are people trying to rally around?
Well,
at least there's not a Roman candle sticking out of it.
Sean was saying how is there anything that this country could rally around anymore?
Like how Italy reacted. The whole country went nuts when they won the the European Cup.
That's a
great. Do we still have things that can bring us together?
I think it'll take a war or something like that.
Oh my God, that's what Mark said.
Hitler type. I don't understand it because honestly, I feel like even the national anthem and the flag have become so triggering.
Yeah, I mentioned that. No.
And I feel like there ought to be something where people just kind of let everything go and go, well, I do rally around, I stand for the anthem or I salute the flag or something. I mean, it sounds really corny, but honestly, there is nothing
Well, going back to the earlier part, how about the fact that this country isn't so bad with how we treat each other compared to other countries around the world?
In a lot of ways, yeah. No, we have issues. We need to get better. But damn, you're right. There are places that are, they have a lot more issues. How about that?
Well, I'll bring this to this show. I've said it on my show. I watch one of the dumbest shows on television called 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah.
It's about people that fall in love with people from other countries. And so the American either goes and lives over there, in Ethiopia or, Brazil or somewhere like that, or that person comes to this country. And when you see how people live in these places and how the Americans are having difficulty adjusting, you realize we are so lucky. We have so much going for us over here.
To that point, I was talking to Zoobs before the show. We're like, I wonder what would be considered, like, I don't even know how you figure it out. What would be the most racist country? Like, who's tolerant in the world? And some economists actually did a big study, and they found that Anglo and Latin countries are the most tolerant. And the
most tolerant?
Tolerant, yes.
To women?
No, to Anglo.
That's
okay.
Different.
Thank you. That's a very big distinction because I cannot believe how women are treated in some of these other countries, and to think that we get so upset over, the average Karen or somebody doing something stupid, and yet these situations exist in other countries that are just abominable.
Well, it is relative, right? But what were you saying,
The
Mark?
two least tolerant countries, according to the study,
Russia,
India, and Jordan. I don't know why.
Well, India's tolerant to much in the way of choice. I mean,
this isn't specifically regarding other ethnicities and races.
I'm not surprised by that.
Then again, they were just controlled by Britain until about 40 years ago. So,
all right.
I don't know.
Your story though,
deep.
your 90 Day Fiance reminds me of that old Chappelle skit, right? Where the white guy went with it was a wife swap with a black couple and a white couple, and it was
the N-word family,
and it was no, not that one. It was a wife. It was a spousal swap. So you had a black couple and a white couple, and they swapped, and were trying to learn how the other lived. It was fun. It made me think of that. But
it just shouldn't be this hard. I don't know. Sometimes I think if you took Trump out of the equation, maybe it'd work a little bit better. But I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. There's kind of always been an undertone there.
I just feel like the undertone is gigantic now, and people just don't trust. They don't trust the government. They don't trust the media. That's a real problem. When people don't trust what they read,
if they'd stop lying.
Neighbors don't trust each other too, right? And the Drew, we're sort of separating ourselves out by neighborhood now.
Yeah,
politically, we've always done it for money. I mean, right? We've always been classist.
Sure.
But now we're starting to do it politically. I keep reading story after story about how people want to be surrounded by like-minded people. That can't be good in the long run.
No, that's the opposite of where we want to go.
But isn't that human nature to be around people?
Politically, it never crossed my mind.
To be around people that are as similar as yourself.
Well, you would share some tastes, I guess, but.
I think playing sports was good for me because I was around a lot of different people.
Absolutely.
And I liked it and I appreciated, that like I was in a dormitory with the Virginia Tech basketball and football players my freshman year. Not that they're the best behaved people, but I really did appreciate where they were coming from, and they came from very different places, and it was enlightening, and I got a lot out of it. It wasn't a bad thing at all. So I don't know. I don't want to be around people just like me all the time.
When you're talking about race, and I'm no expert, and it's sort of funny. Here we are, three white guys doing this, but the best from everything I've read, studies show the best thing to help is experience
and food.
Do you actually know somebody from a different place, and you have experience with them, because that changes everything when you have one-on-one experience. Kind of to your point. And food's another huge one.
It's massively huge.
It is. We can share food. maybe that's the only thing we have. We all love pizza. We all love tacos.
Yeah, but
right?
You know what's funny?
That might be the great unifier.
Right. I mean, pizza's from Italy,
I'm going to let you guys solve this problem.
Here's how absurd it gets, because you were telling me that Gordon Ramsay was getting shit because he cooked an ethnic dish the wrong way. And it's like, I think Gordon Ramsay knows how to cook.
Yeah, but he did fuck that up, and he is kind of arrogant in a way. So
of course he is. So that's why people pile on him. That's the real reason, because they just don't like his
that's part of it, but also it's the idea of if you're going to go make a dish from another country and you're going to put it on television or whatever, or the web or wherever you put it on. I guess it's the same thing. Make the dish like it's supposed to be
sure
made.
he tried.
And then you can do it.
I'm sure he tried, and if he didn't, he made it his own.
No, but he
What's
made
wrong
it his
with
own
that?
way, and then he said, "How can I elevate it?" So you don't use the word elevate unless you know what you're doing fundamentally, and then you, and even then you don't say elevate. No, because that is fucking.
Now you're in a semantic problem then.
But words do matter. I do have to say, to me, I think to a lot of people they do matter.
To a point.
It's arrogant. He's arrogant, yes, but when you say I'm going to elevate this, but I don't even know how to make this, that's foolish to me. Sorry.
Well, okay. Well, he got his comeuppance.
He did. Make the fucking dish. Sorry, I don't mean to get carried away.
One of the things that can bring us all together is making money. Maybe not, because you were just saying that that just kind of split us money. But if you want to make money and you want to invest, overreaction's not the strategy for the long-term investor. So call our buddy Luke Nowacki, Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748. He's going to give you rational financial advice. Make that money grow, even if it's for 6 months, 6 years, 6 decades. Stocks, bonds, 401ks, 529s. He knows it all. Get advice. Get a strategy. Call Luke Nowacki, Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Royal Alliance Associates Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Royal Alliance Associates Inc.
Before we get to the Geek of the Week, you had a column where you talked to Jim Leland. And I don't know, has Leland been out and about talking to people?
No, he's. I caught him. I think he was playing golf, or he just finished playing golf. And I want to say it was a charity tournament. You know, he likes to play golf. He was in Pittsburgh, or in a suburb of Pittsburgh. It's where he's lived, you know, since he managed the Pirates.
Well, he's from.
And his wife, I want to say his wife's from Pittsburgh too. But no, he's not been out and about. I just, the Tigers put together back-to-back winning months for the first time in 6 years or whatever it was, and I think AJ Hinch, the manager, has been a big part of that. And I thought it would be interesting to call up Jim Leland, who was in that same position in 2006. He took over the same club after a lot of losing and started to surprise some people with a lot of winning. Now, they jumped out of the gate and then took off and got all the way to the World Series. This team's not going to do that, I don't think. But it's a little bit surprising how well they played the last couple of months. Now, they've had a recent losing streak. And I think the timing of my column was not very good because they just lost 4 in a row.
Always about you.
But no, it's funny. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be El Ricky in there.
Just kidding.
But when I called him, I just sort of blind call him. A lot of times when you call people like that, you text them first.
Yeah.
Hey, can we chat? And I thought, he's not always great with text. I'm just going to call him and see what happens. And he's just low. And I said, hey, this is Sean Winter at the Detroit Free Press. Hey, I'm playing golf right now. Can I call you back? Click. Just like that.
He's time managing.
Just like that.
He called you back?
He did. He called me back a lot sooner than I thought, by the way, and I'd just run out. And
did you go, I'll call you back? Click.
I did. I had to.
Really?
Because I want to be able to take notes. I said, I'm in my car. I'm just a few minutes away from my house. Can I call you right back? And he said, okay. So I called him back, and he was great with his answers. He gave me time. But then he was done. He's like, hey, I'm at a cocktail party. And that was it. I didn't get to say thank you. I didn't get, any of the normal sort of courtesies. Yeah. I'm at a cocktail party, and then there was silence. That's just how he is. But he
still does work for the team, but he likes.
He does. He's a special assistant for the front office.
What does that mean? What does he
advisory
really
role? If you want to pick his brain, he says he tries to stay out of it. He certainly stays out of the day-to-day, the clubhouse and Hinch and all that. But he had a lot of good things to say about Hinch. He likes the team and some of the young pieces. And no, he's always been one.
I like him. I think
he's always been one of my favorites to talk to. He's real.
Straight shooter.
He's got a great
knows the game.
Sense of human nature and how to relate to people and all kinds of people, right? And I always love that about him. And he can be funny. He can also be very. He can be acerbic, which is sort of funny. He can be blunt.
Is it behind the paywall?
I think it is.
Okay,
that's not my decision.
Oh, I know it's not. Freep.com if you want to read it. But I thought it was an interesting. It's good to hear from Skip.
I remember one time I was in Kansas City. He was walking through the clubhouse in his underwear, and I was standing there, Brandon Ninja's stall, and he walks by, and he's got the body he's got at that age, and he's in his underwear walking through, and Ninja looks at him, kind of tracks him as he's walking across the clubhouse, and looks back at me and said, "I think I just threw up in my mouth."
Oh man, the geeks have inherited the earth.
Did I do that?
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
I was thinking of so many different people for Geeks of the Week. I was thinking maybe airline passengers lately. They've been a little rambunctious back to their old ways.
Dude, have you seen the numbers? There have been more
it's insane.
Complaints in the last 6 months than in the last 10 years.
It's
what
nuts.
the heck is going on in our skies?
There's no penalty for acting like an asshole in the skies. So.
It's just unbelievable. By the way, I thought Jim Leland looked fine in his undies. I could just say that.
Oh, you like what you see? Huh?
No, but no. Real quickly, and you're going to talk about the opposite of what's the Geek of the Week. What was great about him is that he was who he was, and he didn't care. He's walking through, and I think we gravitate to people like that. Be who you are, be yourself, and right.
I think we saw that in 2016, didn't we?
Yeah, but was that? I mean,
part,
I guess he did sort of reveal
part of Trump's charm.
He was lying too much for my taste, and I'm sorry, listeners who love him,
but he didn't care.
No, he did not care that he was lying. So I guess in that way, you're right,
without a doubt.
I mean, most stuff coming out of his mouth, right? But it was the way he just didn't care, and I think that's the psychological.
Well, a lot of times a position in life can allow you to do and be and speak freely as to who you want, which leads to my next nominee for Geek of the Week who I was thinking about was just these billionaire astronauts, quote unquote, namely Richard Branson, because that's not an astronaut to me, what he did. That's just him getting off.
Skip along the edge of the Earth?
Yeah. I don't know. Elon Musk at least is trying to go to Mars, as you referenced earlier. And it's like, okay, that might have some long-term ramifications. But watching the video of Branson floating around in his spaceship, in air quotes there, just made me laugh. It's like, this is a vanity project. That's how I took it. But that's not my Geek of the Week. And the one I think we can rally around are two Michigan state agencies. Number one, the Secretary of State, which has been an unbelievable disaster if you need an appointment or even when you get an appointment and how slow they've been. And
since the pandemic started, yeah.
Since the well, come on, man. How long can you blame the pandemic for something?
No, but that's when no, I agree, but that's when it started, right?
Get on it and fix it. And the last fix is that, we're going to extend hours by 1 hour a day. It's like,
no, that doesn't do it.
There's a massive backlog.
And what's too bad, man, is that they had actually started to get the shit together. Before the pandemic, you could set up appointments. It had become a lot more efficient.
Also, just walk in.
You could.
Yeah.
It was a lot more efficient, and they were kind of like, wow, this isn't the experience we've had all our life.
It's a disaster.
They were getting better.
I just had to go there, and I got an appointment the day before. And then when I got there, it took forever to get service because, it's nothing nobody knows. They're not terribly efficient there either because, once again, no competition. You can't go to another Secretary of State. In this state, you have to go to Michigan's. So is there much desire to fix it?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think so.
We've
certainly doesn't seem that way.
I don't know. We've had the K car, man, and the Pinto, so it's the free enterprise isn't always the answer either.
Well, no, but we don't have them anymore.
Probably a bit of both, but they were around too long. Probably a bit of both.
But even worse than that, I think this is my number one Geek of the Week, is the Michigan Unemployment Insurance Agency, who has had so many problems in the past from poor software. I mean, it's been atrocious, and they overcharged people, and they got sued because of it. But the new one is there is about 650,000 people that got aid from COVID that the feds say, nah, what they got, when they check that box that you offered them to check, because the state set it up with the federal money, that's not qualified anymore. That they never should have gotten the money. So what does the state do? They're trying to claw it back for a mistake they made.
No, you can't do that.
It's atrocious. It's about 19% of the people that got the aid now. They're saying you are unqualified, and we're going to try and get that money back for a mistake they made.
No, that's not right.
Infuriates me.
That's not right.
And you said that they owe you money too, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, from a furlough week last year through the pandemic.
Well, good luck getting that. How much of a nightmare is that going to be?
Well, it was weird. Yeah, no, it was really weird because I had 4 furlough weeks last year through the pandemic. Mm-hmm. I think everybody had 3, and then in any case, I got paid for the first 2, no problem. The system worked, and the third it just didn't work, and then the fourth did work. And every time I tried to call, right, you know how it is, right? I didn't think too much of that because everybody was trying to call, and they were overwhelmed, and I wanted to have some empathy for what they were trying to do. But now here it is, and I've called. I finally set up an appointment, and the gal didn't know really how to help me. And then she said, by the way, I can only talk to you for, I think it was 10 or 15 minutes, and then I got to move on.
What?
I'll try to get you to somebody else. And it was a 2-hour wait.
They have time limits on how long
they do. And I don't want to, I feel for those folks, right? I mean, it's not the individual person you're talking to. It's
of course not.
It's not their fault.
It's the structural bureaucracy.
And they were overwhelmed, right? So you're used to dealing with a certain percentage of unemployed people year in and year out, and all of a sudden COVID hits, and they don't have the woman power, whatever. They don't have the personnel. How about that?
Yes, we know what you meant.
Yeah, but they don't have the fucking personnel.
But that's what pisses me off about
it. How do they do it?
Like just removing people's, flood damage stuff from their yards, right? Things that affect their daily lives.
Right.
This is money people needed. Right, and some people still need it, and they're going to try and claw it back because
that's outrageous.
They checked the wrong box that they set up for them.
That's outrageous.
Or just even putting that aside, how the unemployment office treats the people. It's like, these people need this stuff. Why don't you fix that thing first before everything else? It drives me up a wall because that's why they're the Geek of the Week. And you shouldn't be a geek either if you have a high interest rate on your house. If it's over the 3s, get over it. Call Hall Financial. Rates are still in the 2s. I don't know how much longer they're going to be there. I'm shocked they're still there. Call Hall Financial. You never know how much money you could save. It's worth a call. It's really no big issue to do it. Hall Financial's fast. They do all the heavy lifting for you. Go to DrewMikeHallFinancial.com or DrewandMikeHF.com. I think it's on the site. You'll see it on the site. You'll see it on ML's site. You'll see it on the Drew and Mike site. It's Hall Financial. Call them. Get a good quote. NMLS number 1467435.
There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night. You've got the time.
God, I sound like Elric. I know what the rules are for room 7609, Mark.
Yeah. Did you obey them?
I did. I had strict orders, right.
Did he really?
From the boss. No, I don't know if they were that strict. In any case, he
doesn't care about this show.
No, he doesn't. If he did, he'd be here, right? He can't even slip out of his meeting down by the river to give us a call and check in and see how we're doing. In any case, but we'll talk a little bit more about this band afterwards. Just know that they like the folks in England. They have a song called England. They're going on a UK tour, but they are American. Here's Sea of Love from The National.
When you go under the waves.
So that was Sea of Love by The National, a band that are, I think, Ohio natives.
Broke a rule. That doesn't sound like new wave to me.
No, well, it doesn't. They're from Cincinnati, I think, all of them. But they formed in Brooklyn in 99, I think, or somewhere around there, 99, 2000. And you know what? You can call them alternative. Maybe some folks might say art rock.
Or rock.
But it's just a cool song from an interesting band.
It's a great song.
And it is a great song. And the reason I wanted to play them is because
it'll piss him off.
Well, not just to piss off. I don't really want to piss Mike off. It's easier when he's happy with us. But the National, and you know, fine, you want to quibble with the name The National and think that's a little, you know, too precious.
No one does. No one
too
does.
precious. But they're influenced by the Smiths. And
really?
Yeah, that was one of their biggest influences. They have one of their hit songs is called England.
Well, there you go.
Right?
So how he can't complain
They tour
about
over
this.
there. The Brits loved them. In fact, they were supposed to be over in London in May and had to cancel, I think, probably because of COVID stuff. So, you know, there's a connection, right?
I would say they sound a little Joy Division-ish.
Yeah,
in a way,
I mean, they do.
Where the vocals are kind of pulled.
You can hear it a little bit,
back,
but we wanted to play that for you and for Mikey to show that you know, folks over here on this side of the pond can still make some music.
Well,
man.
the fact that there's rock music even being made over here is kind of impressive.
Yeah, and that song's probably 10 years old, but maybe more. But
they're still active, though.
Yeah, they are. You know, it's not like the Stones going on tour 40 years after they hit. We're not talking about that. Their last hit. Sorry.
I love the choice. He'll have some problems with it, but then he'll just have to get over it. That's
Yeah,
what he
but
gets
it
for
was an
being by the
homage. It's a roundabout homage to the Smiths. How about that?
Okay. Then maybe he'll appreciate that.
He might be okay with that.
I just love the fact that we know he's going to nitpick everything on the show. It's just
Well, you know.
You know, he did send me. Let's see if I can find it. He did send me a piece of feedback since this is usual feedback time. All he wrote was FYI, and he sent this email along. He says, "ML, you're killing me with this attack on the NIL, the name, image, and likeness thing that the Supreme Court ruled on and allows
we
college
debated
athletes."
about, right? We brought the debate back for
Exactly.
once because he wanted to.
He doesn't like it. It rubs. I think, in all honesty, I feel like it rubs him the wrong way. He just wants college athletes to be student athletes.
He wants them, you know.
So it's, you know, fits
there
with
for his entertainment.
It
Mark.
fits with his 1980s view on things, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a plantation view, if you ask me. But,
Whoa. Okay.
No, I'm. Yeah, no, it's not.
I know what you mean.
It's
free labor.
Exactly. He wants.
But you made the great point that this is money not coming from the NCAA or the schools. This is money coming from the free market.
It is, and in fairness to Mike, as much as I kid him about just wanting entertainment, that's not really it. He genuinely is thinking about, from his perspective, the welfare of these student athletes, and will this interfere with their not just the work they put in with the sport, but their academics, and will it interfere with where their goals are down the road and all that sort of thing. So I think it's sincere on his part that he genuinely cares about that.
Well, I think he does.
He's just wrong. Right. So yeah, no. So I want to make that clear.
So here's the feedback he forwarded to us. The first line. So let's see if it's going to end up supporting him or not. He says, "ML, you're killing me with this attack on the NIL decision from the Supreme Court. There's a difference between people who stream themselves gaming with their friends and have a following. I know a few, and someone working a full or part-time job playing video games. Like Mark and Sean said, they already play the games. That was your line. If they stream themselves playing Madden and make money, good for them. If they do it too much and they're laying eggs on the field, they're going to get benched. That's how it's going to shake out. I will concede. I agree that a student who turns their NIL into a full-time job is not good for them or the sport they play, but that's still not a good reason to keep guys, from getting scholarships or making money." So
that sounds good to me.
It's just Herbie put it very succinctly.
But all it said was FYI, because I thought he actually put a line in the subject head about. Was he trying to argue with that fellow?
No. The subject line was Herbie's subject line, which was your NIL argument. Well, it means nil, which was kind of the play on words that we used for.
Okay. Yeah, very clever.
Now we do have
very clever.
We do have some voice response to the phone number 313-288-9070.
Hi. This is a big fan of ML Soul of Detroit, mostly of ML's work. I understand Sean's going to be hosting the show by himself. I hope he doesn't, mess it up or anything, because I'd hate for him to mess up anything related to ML because he does a really good job. I just wanted to. I'll hang up now and take your comments off the air.
What a dick! It's clearly him leaving.
No. He tried to hide his. He tried to hide it behind what, phlegm?
Well, it's a terrible fake voice.
Yeah,
that ML's trying to hide there. But also, he says, "I understand Sean's hosting by himself." Which, how would anybody have known that?
No, and it's a huge insult to you to say I'm hosting by myself.
No,
you see what I mean?
I enjoy.
It's completely dissing you. You're the host. I'm just the.
You're the star. Don't sell yourself.
I'm the.
Actually, Drew's the star, and I'm glad
I'm the clown.
If you want,
I'm the little side amusement. You know what I mean?
You're the old man.
You're the host.
Providing sage.
I don't provide sage advice to anybody.
Oh, ML said he honestly just texted. I just broke free. If you need me, I suspect you're wrapped. Well, he's half right. We're on our way out. You want to?
Do you want to call him real quick, or are we done? We're done.
No, it's his loss.
It is his loss, right? He can't just say, "Well, okay, I've got time now," right? It can't all be on his watch.
Oh, he's on his watch. We love him.
All right. What about the stuff, hoodies and all that good?
Oh,
Do we need to hawk a little bit because we will hear about it, brother?
Yeah. If you want to donate to the show, there's a donate button. Thank you for reminding me, Sean. Meant to do this at the top of the show. MLSoloDetroit.com is the website. There's a donate button. You can donate via PayPal. Very, very simple. If you want some swag, there's shirts. We're both wearing them. We look like we're in a band. DrewandMikeStore.com. You can find all of ML's swag there. I love the logo. I think it's just a solid logo. ML is still running for city council if you want to know more about that. ML4 Detroit, the number 4 Detroit spelled out. And so, yeah, that's where you can give all your money to us that way.
Before I have Cyrus take us out, can I just ask you a quick question?
Sure.
It's been really a lot of fun today. Very little tension. Why? I mean, what's different about today? I can't quite put my finger on it.
I don't know. It's crazy.
And it went by quickly.
We're going without a wire.
It went by quickly. So you mean we're on?
In fairness to him, there's one less person. That'll make it go by quicker.
No. I know. We love him. We miss him.
We think he'll be back next week.
We hope he'll be back.
If he has an event.
We do miss him. I was good to see him Saturday night at his awesome yard beer party.
We're less than a month away from the election day.
I know.
The primary, and then the top 2 go.
No, he's out there doing good deeds, good works.
He'll be good for the city.
Walking us, he'll be great. He'll be great. He'll be great for the city. I'm not sure what it'll mean for this podcast, but we might have more weeks.
Might just be like this.
Yeah. You never know, and I'm sure that's not that wouldn't be fun for a lot of you out there.
He claims he's going to continue it.
Yeah, we'll see.
When he wins.
When he wins.
That's me saying when. He would say if.
Yeah, I know. No, we don't want to put words in his mouth, and I try
or anything else.
Oh, okay. No, that was good.
I thought I spoke for both of us.
Yeah, no, you did. All right, my man, it's been fun, and Cyrus, take us out.
Can you dig that? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Tuesday, a special presentation. The true story of best-selling writer
ML Elric.
He lived the good life until an election changed his world and everything began to crumble.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it all.
ML Elric and Sean Windsor.
Star in the network premiere of
The Soul of Detroit.
Tuesday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.